for my audience today, I have my dad and I have my mom. Hello and welcome. My name is Sandy, and today I will talk about how the government should make getting vaccines mandatory for everyone. Do you want to die? Do you want to catch COVID? Do you maybe want the possibility of ending up in a hospital? Do you want to be intubated by oxygen and having to breathe throughout machines? No? Didn't think so. That's why today I will talk about the reasons as to why everyone should get COVID vaccines and why it should be mandatory. So, the reasons that I am talking, the reason that why, as to why I'm talking about this today, the reasons behind this is because COVID vaccines are safe. You could risk your life along with others if you do not get vaccinated, and vaccine preventable infections can be deadly. So the first topic that we're going to talk about today is vaccines are safe. Influenza. Let's start off with that topic. The symptoms of influenza can be body ache, fever, sore throat, fatigue, and headache. Not fun, right? This can usually last 3 to 4 days. This virus mainly attacks people with weak defense systems and usually attacks people with respiratory problems. So this goes for asthma, lungs, heart disease, anything that has to do with lungs and heart. This could end up possibly killing you. This virus has killed 50 million people, at least. And this virus, influenza, started in 1918 in World War I. It was originally called the Spanish flu. The reason it was called this was because it came originally from Spain, and Spain's king also got contracted with this virus. And because we were in a war, Spain's military defense came and fought, and along with fighting the other military men, they also contracted this disease, and it spread worldwide. This disease, the people who are at risk of getting this are 65-year-old people, older people than that, and pregnant women and children younger than 5. All of this is proven by CDC. The reason that this virus was made was because it was killing millions of people, and still to this day it still does. This virus vaccine was to be created by Jonas Salk and Thomas Francis Jr. They both developed the influenza vaccine in 1945. Keep in mind that this virus started in 1918 at the beginning of World War I, and the vaccine was developed in 1945. So that is a 27-year gap. This flu vaccination prevented 105,000 people from dying in 2019 to 2020. Before, the stats that were proven in this, as you can see over here, we have the estimate of deaths and people contracting it. So, as the years go by, back in 2004, that's when a couple people died of contracting this virus. And as we move on more, this vaccine is still to this day getting more technology put in and more medications put in, because even if this vaccine worked back then, does not mean that it can stop us. It can keep on improving to lessen the percentage of deaths. So the effectiveness is still being processed to this day, and they're still working on it, and its effectiveness is really good towards you contracting the flu. Now, my next topic that I will be talking about is how you risk your life and your loved ones and your family members, all of their lives. You risk them from getting COVID too, along with yours. So let's start with first off hospitals. not only do you affect your family and yourself when you get contracted with COVID-19, but you also affect the people who are working in the medical field or in the first emergency response team. The reason for this is because they are the ones that have to take care of you. Let's say you go out, you don't care about mask regulations, you don't care about social distancing regulations, you think that COVID is just something that the government made up. Okay, you go out, you walk without a mask, and you get contracted with COVID. That's because you didn't want to follow the rules. You didn't want to be like everyone else and wear a mask. So now, due to that, to the ignorance, you are risking the life of the doctors who are working at hospitals because they are the ones that have to take care of you. You're not the one who has to take care of yourself, because if, God forbids, anything gets worse and you have to end up in the hospital because you can't breathe, that's on a doctor's life and job, and you're the one who's risking their life because they are the one that are getting near you and they have a possibility of contracting it. The rate percentage is like a 90% that they can get contracted with COVID. Another reason as to why it can affect your family members, or this can affect family members, is because we got contracted with COVID back in January, the first week right after New Year's, because my uncle was visiting from Washington. Little did we know that he was visiting and going out of LA without a mask, and we came together for New Year's. That was the first time, because in November we didn't celebrate Thanksgiving together due to some of our family members being exposed to COVID. So we were not able to come together. But little did we know that he went out, and none of us knew because he kept it a secret. We all got contracted with COVID, me, myself included, and that was not a fun experience. I, luckily, because of my defense system, of it being strong, and because I have taken a lot of medication, I only got COVID and contracted it for a day and a half. My symptoms were a headache, body ache, nausea, fever, and I couldn't get out of my bed. It was really bad. But it was only for one day, so it wasn't as bad. Compared to my mom and my sister took 2 weeks, and yet she was scared because she thought, because she had problems of not being able to breathe because she has asthma and always had asthma since she was small, we thought she was going to end up in the hospital because of that. Luckily, she didn't, and she got saved by my mom's quick thinking and medications. And my mom, it took like 4 weeks to a month to recover, and even then she still had stomach problems after like a month or so. That was not fun. That was not a fun experience at all, because not only my family was contracted, all of my uncles and aunts and my cousins got contracted with it too, and they all got scared. Now my uncle was the one who was the most affected by this. Why? Because we thought that him being big and like strong, he was going to be able to handle COVID, but that was not the case. He was the one that fell most easily to this virus. We thought that he was going to end up in the hospital for sure, but luckily we had medication to help him get better, and he got scared. He honestly thought he was not going to make it, and so did we. He told his kids that, he told my cousin, the oldest, that he had to take care of his family when he was gone, and that he had to look out for everyone. He felt like he was going to die, and it got to all of us, because losing a family member is just not something you want. Nobody wants that. It's not something you would wish upon someone. And now, the third reason is, not only would you be killing yourself, but because of the ignorance of that, you could kill someone else's grandparents. You could go out to parties, you could go out to the street, restaurant, no mask, and you cannot know if you have COVID or not because you are asymptomatic. You don't show signs of the symptoms, you're fine, you're completely normal, but you could still have COVID. And by doing that, you can contract to someone else who is older, 65 and older, and they will not be able to resist it because they are older, and their immune system and their body just won't be able to fight it off like yours would. And by going out you just affect everyone with no masks on. It's just a simple regulation that everyone should follow, but not a lot of people want to follow it. Now, the third one is vaccine preventable infections can be deadly. What this is vaccine preventable is there are some vaccines like this one, COVID-19, where it can prevent you from getting this disease. It can save you and save the harm, the damage, and the cost of the hospital too. There have been 20,000 to 60,000 deaths due to the influenza by CDC that was recorded. These deaths could have been prevented if people would have taken the vaccine, if they would have just gone to a CVS pharmacy, anywhere. It doesn't have to be a doctor's office. You could get this anywhere at a pharmaceutical place. And they can give you the flu shot, and it's just one. You don't have to go repeatedly. For some you do, but it's just one shot. One shot can save you thousands of dollars on hospital costs. COVID deaths can be prevented, and this would be a good thing. It would save us less money, less equipment. It's a simple vaccine. It has no chip, no government tracking, nothing. It's a simple vaccine shot. Because why would government want to follow us and know where we are by inserting a chip in our arms when they already do that with our phones, with our computers, TVs, any internet source that we have? They are already tracking us by there. So there's no need to put a chip in a vaccine. So in conclusion, what I'm trying to say is go get your vaccine. This is way bigger than the elections of 2020. This is way bigger than that. You want to get vaccinated. It is safe. There have been trials that have been proven to be safe, and it will continue to progress each time. So it'll eventually get better. The vaccine will get better. And the reason that people do not want to put this vaccine on is because they say it was made in such a short time process too. That's also another debatable question. Yes, it was made short, but because of the technology that we now have. Back then, it took 17 or 27 years to come up with the influenza vaccine. But think of the technology that they had back then compared to the technology that we now have. We now have new, improved, and better technology than they once did. So that's why this vaccine was made in under 6 months to a year. A famous quote that is said by Josh Billings is, "Health is like money. We never have a true idea of its value until we lose it." And that is true. You never are thankful for your health until you get COVID and realize, wow, I should have put on that vaccine. Because it's nothing, it's only a vaccine, and it is safe, proven by the government. And government officials have also put on this vaccine, proving that it is safe. So, this is why the government should make this mandatory, because there is nothing to be afraid of. Everyone should get it. Thank you so much for listening to me.